aviation mysteries of all time. MH370 disappeared 9 years ago.
Don't do is just vanish off the face of the earth.
On March 8, 2014, a Boeing 777 departed from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, only to vanish from radar screens 40 minutes into the flight. The disappearance of the Malaysian airline flight MH370 is one of the greatest mysteries in aviation history. Imagine a modern aircraft simply vanishing without a trace. A mystery that has left experts confounded and continuously sparked global speculation threw the world into an investigation frenzy for nearly a decade. However, against all odds, a groundbreaking revelation has finally provided the much-anticipated answers about the fate of this notorious flight. We are talking about its actual location. Join us as we delve into the mystery surrounding this tragic situation. Aircraft disappearances have long been an issue of mystery and have always captured the attention of experts in the aviation industry and the general public alike. These inexplicable events give rise to numerous questions, some unanswered, like the case of the MH370. Several factors can contribute to these unprecedented occurrences. In many cases, it's a complex interplay of technical malfunctions, human error, and sometimes adverse weather conditions. Moreover, the vastness of our oceans and remote regions can make locating missing planes challenging, even with advanced technology. Air traffic controllers employ two radar types for locating airplanes while it is suspended in the atmosphere. Primary radar employs electromagnetic signals bouncing off objects, showing the physical location of the plane in the sky. Secondary radar communicates with a plane's transponder, which returns data on the plane's position and speed. If a natural force caused immediate destruction or power loss, the transponder would cease working, making the plane vanish from secondary radar, but remain visible on primary radar. However, in the event of a rapid descent at an exceptionally high velocity, the aircraft would become invisible to both radar systems. Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, carrying 227 passengers and 12 crew members, mysteriously vanished from both radars from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia to Beijing, China. The Vanishing Act raised a lot of eyebrows as the plane's last communication did not indicate rapid descent that could have displaced it from the monitoring radars. This surprising event unfolded without any distress signals, the discovery of wreckage, or conclusive explanations. Numerous theories have emerged to elucidate this baffling disappearance, encompassing mechanical malfunctions, hijacking scenarios, and even pilot suicide. Despite persistent investigative efforts, the exact location of MH370's wreckage and the reasons behind its disappearance remain unclear, and it remains a subject of interest and speculation. As we delve into the video, we'll explore the various elements that can lead to aircraft vanishing from radar screens, shedding light on the fascinating and often perplexing world of aviation mysteries. Let's retrace the events of that fateful day. Flight 370 was conducted using a Boeing 777-2H6ER with the serial number 28420 and registration 9MMRO. This aircraft was the 404th Boeing 777 ever manufactured, with its inaugural flight occurring on May 14, 2002. It was delivered to Malaysia Airlines on May 31, 2002, equipped with two Rolls-Royce Trent 892 engines and designed to accommodate 282 passengers. The aircraft logged 53,471.6 flight hours throughout its service and completed 7,526 takeoffs and landings, cycles. Remarkably, it had no prior involvement in any significant incidents. However, a minor wingtip incident occurred while taxiing at Shanghai Pudong International Airport in August 2012. Its last, a check maintenance, was performed on February 23, 2014. Flight 370 departed from Kuala Lumpur at 12:41 a.m. on March 8, 2014. Just 40 minutes into the flight, the aircraft vanished from radar screens along with 227 passengers and 12 crew members. Despite a massive search effort involving 34 ships and 28 aircraft from 7 countries, no trace was found. 4 years of investigation yielded no concrete answers, The flight was piloted by 27-year-old First Officer Farid Hamid, undertaking his final training flight before receiving his official certification. His instructor, Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, aged 53 and one of Malaysia Airlines' most senior pilots, was also on board. Zahari's radio communications were slightly unusual as they departed, reporting the aircraft at 35,000 feet without mentioning any altitude changes. The last communication from MH370 occurred when a Kuala Lumpur air traffic controller bid them goodnight. Strangely, Zahari replied with, "Good night, Malaysian 370, omitting the frequency repetition customary in aviation. This was the last anyone heard from MH370. Just 5 seconds after entering Vietnamese airspace, MH370 disappeared from radar screens. Remarkably, it took Kuala Lumpur Air Traffic Control 39 minutes to notice the absence of the aircraft. By then, they assumed the plane had entered Vietnamese airspace. It wasn't until 4 hours later that the emergency response was activated, despite the aircraft's scheduled arrival in Beijing. MH370 initially deviated to the southwest after disappearing from radar, circling the Malaysian peninsula and bypassing Penang Island. It continued northwest, traversing the Malacca Strait and entering the Andaman Sea. During the last hours of MH370's flight, unusual actions and decisions occurred. The plane ascended to an altitude of 40,000 feet, resulting in rapid depressurization that could have hindered the passengers. The high altitude could have contributed to its disappearance on the radar screens. Only the cockpit had oxygen masks, suggesting a deliberate attempt to disable the cabin. Furthermore, the aircraft deviated from its route, heading towards Captain Zahari's hometown of Penang, which raised suspicions of an intentional act rather than an accident. On March 24th, Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak stated that following an analysis of the final signals by Inmarsat and the UK Air Accidents Investigation Branch, AAIB, it was determined that the flight had crashed in a remote area of the Indian Ocean, approximately 2,500 kilometers, 1,500 miles, southwest of Australia. Consequently, it was highly improbable that any individuals on board had survived. The Malaysians were technically leading the investigation into MH370, but they didn't have the resources or expertise for a deep-sea search and recovery. So the Australians, as responsible international partners, took charge. The areas of the Indian Ocean indicated by satellite data, roughly 1,200 miles southwest of Perth, were incredibly deep and largely uncharted. The first big task was to create detailed maps of the underwater terrain, making using side-scanning sonar vehicles several miles below the surface safe. The ocean floor in this region featured ridges in complete darkness where sunlight had never reached. The remote crash site's challenging location hindered the search for wreckage. Starting on April 6th, an Australian ship detected potential acoustic signals, possibly from the Boeing 777's flight recorder, often called the Black Box, about 1,200 miles northwest of Perth, Western Australia. Further examination of Inmarsat data by the AAIB revealed a partial signal from the plane at 8:19 a.m., matching the location of these acoustic signals. The last of these signals was heard on April 8th, suggesting that the flight recorder may have run out of battery power. In an attempt to locate the flight recorder, robotic submarines were deployed. However, the signals had spread over a wide area and no debris was discovered. Subsequent tests indicated that a malfunctioning cable in the acoustic equipment could have generated the signals, raising doubts about their connection to Flight 370. The backgrounds of the two pilots, Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah and First Officer Farid Abdul Hamid, underwent scrutiny during the investigation. Captain Zahari, an experienced pilot, had a complex personal life and often spent extensive hours alone in his home flight simulator. In 2016, New York Magazine published a report stating that the pilot had used his home flight simulator to simulate a flight over the southern Indian Ocean, which closely resembled the path the missing aircraft took shortly before its disappearance. This information, combined with more details about the pilot's personal life becoming known, gave weight to the idea that the pilot might have intentionally caused the plane's disappearance as a deliberate act of mass murder-suicide. In contrast, First Officer Farid, a young and promising pilot, displayed no signs of suspicious behavior or personal issues, and investigators found no evidence linking him to the plane's disappearance. MH370's disappearance spurred numerous outlandish theories. Following the incident, media mogul Rupert Murdoch suggested it could be linked to jihadist activity aimed at China. Another theory circulated that Pakistan or Afghanistan had hijacked the plane. Some even speculated that the plane had enough fuel to reach North Korea, akin to a 1969 hijacking. Let's talk about the conspiracy theories that spawned during the decade-long investigation of the aircraft's disappearance. Some people believe in a conspiracy theory about MH370. They think the plane was taken by the United States and flown to their military base on Diego Garcia Island, or landed there after getting instructions. But during a White House briefing on March 18th, Press Secretary Jay Carney said the second idea is untrue. The theory is based on a few things, like the co-pilot's mobile phone contact and the plane turning west, which could match a flight towards the island. A former French airline executive has developed a new twist in the MH370 mystery. He claims that the U.S. military might have shot down the Malaysia Airlines flight near their base on Diego Garcia. Some people in Kuala Lumpur said they saw a big plane flying low around 6:15 on March 8th. It looked like a Malaysia Airlines plane, white with red stripes. The plane was going from north to southeast, heading towards the southern tip of the Maldives. People on the island also mentioned that it made a very loud noise as it flew over. In July 2015, debris from a Boeing 777 was found on Reunion Island near Madagascar, and it was later confirmed to be from MH370. This discovery sparked online speculation that the plane might have been shot down near Diego Garcia, a remote location far from Reunion, due to fears of a terrorist attack. However, experts like Professor Charita Patiarachi from the University of Western Australia explained that the debris washing up on Reunion was consistent with the expected path of ocean currents from where the plane was believed to have crashed. Despite this explanation, some people who believed the plane had landed safely elsewhere dismissed the debris as fake. Some people speculated that the MH370 passengers might still be alive because family members heard ringing when they called their cell phones, which was termed the phantom cell phone theory. However, this was based on early reports and was later questioned by Jeff Kagan, a wireless analyst. He explained that the network could produce ringbacks as it tries to connect, even if the cell phones were no longer working or destroyed. The suggestion of a cyber attack on Flight 370 has been brought up, largely due to comments from Sally Leavesley, a former scientific advisor to the UK government. There is ongoing debate regarding whether commercial flight security measures are adequate to thwart such an attack. However, Boeing has firmly rejected this possibility. According to Gayla Keller, a spokesperson for the company, Boeing is confident in the strong safeguards protecting all flight-critical systems, making it improbable for hackers to gain access from either external or internal sources on the 777 and all Boeing aircraft. There have been claims circulating on social media and in chain emails that a patent was granted shortly after MH370 disappeared. According to these claims, the patent was divided into 5 shares, with 20% going to Freescale Semiconductor and 20% each to 4 employees who were passengers on the plane. The patent is related to making integrated circuits on a semiconductor wafer. However, the fact-checking website Snopes.com has found no evidence to support the idea that the 4 inventors listed on the patent application were on the passenger list for the aircraft. Furthermore, there is no confirmation that they were entitled to a 20% share of the patent. It's also unlikely that their share would automatically revert to Freescale Semiconductor in the event of their death, as suggested in the chain email. There were also speculative notions suggesting that a black hole might have swallowed Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, and this idea got attention when Don Lemon asked about it on CNN. However, experts like Mary Schiavo and professors from Columbia and Stanford criticized this idea because a small black hole would consume the entire universe, which we know didn't happen. Another theory was that a meteor hit the plane, but the chances of that happening are very low. These theories contradict established principles of physics. Some even went as far as saying there might be an extraterrestrial involvement. In 2018, a man claimed to have received mysterious Morse code messages and coordinates near Indonesia, leading to speculation about extraterrestrial involvement or alien abduction. Despite the bizarre nature of these claims, they contributed to the overall mystery surrounding the disappearance of the flight. Has Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 actually been located to this day? A significant breakthrough earlier this year filled in the missing pieces of the timeline of events and pinpointed the plane's final resting place. This, along with what has been learnt over the years, may help us uncover a motive and the likely cause and lead us to locate the plane and its crucial black boxes. While some progress has been made in unraveling the mystery of MH370, there's still much to uncover in the depths of the southern Indian Ocean. Despite the uncertainties, there's a glimmer of hope that finding the wreckage will provide closure and a definitive explanation for Malaysian Airlines Flight 370's fate. Armed with these facts, we can finally end speculation and better understand what happened on that fateful day. Following the plane's crash in the Indian Ocean, much physical evidence was collected. Currently, 36 pieces of floating debris have been discovered and submitted to Malaysian authorities for examination. Official reports are pending for 3 of these items. Additionally, 19 pieces of floating debris, likely from MH370, have washed up on the shores of Madagascar. This region is where the South Equatorial Current meets the island in the Indian Ocean. Another piece of floating debris was discovered in a fisherman's backyard, having washed ashore on South Beach in Madagascar in March 2017, following the passage of Tropical Storm Fernando. This debris item, which had barnacles on it when found, is the 4th to be found from MH370 in the same area. Interestingly, the University of Western Australia's oceanographic model successfully predicted this location. The newly discovered debris is believed to be a part of the left main landing gear trunnion door. This debris is likely connected to MH370, resembling other items found in the Western Indian Ocean that were later confirmed to be from a Boeing 777, specifically the Boeing 777-200ER registered as 9M MRO, the same aircraft used for MH370. New evidence from the examined aircraft debris has revealed a shocking detail about the incident. The debris item was torn from where it was attached and has been seriously damaged. A mark on it looks like what you'd find on the bottom of something like an attachment or a rod. This suggests that this debris was probably part of a panel that could move. The slicing damage on this piece goes all the way through, and it seems like it happened because of a strong force. Interestingly, the slicing damage goes from the inside of the debris to the outside. The plane's landing gear was also down when it crashed into the ocean. This suggests that the plane's disappearance might not have been accidental, but deliberately submerged. This finding could be a breakthrough in the case. The MH370 crash was far from a gentle landing on the ocean. Experts found the plane's flaps weren't partially extended, typical for a controlled water landing. The strong possibility that the landing gear was down suggests an active pilot who wanted the plane to sink quickly after hitting the water. This combination of high-speed impact and extended landing gear indicates a clear effort to hide the crash's evidence. The debris from MH370 tells us how the plane likely crashed, and oceanographic analysis helps determine where it might have happened. However, neither source can reveal who was flying the plane or why. The hope is that a professional examination and analysis of this debris item will provide more information about its origin and significance. The disappearance of Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 remains an unsolved puzzle that continues to captivate the world's imagination. Despite extensive investigations and countless theories, the exact circumstances surrounding its disappearance remain elusive. While some evidence points to deliberate actions by someone in the cockpit, many questions remain unanswered. Until concrete evidence emerges, MH370 will remain a haunting enigma in aviation history. We have come to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share, and subscribe.